Who's in the mood to add a little of their biological and technological distinctiveness to our own?
I wish they would make some more story distinctiveness, but anyway, that's what it is. This is Live Long and Podcast. This is the Star Trek Picard Season 2, Episode 8 reaction video, I guess. Episode review, whatever you want to call it. Mercy was the name of this one, and I was hoping it would show me Mercy the entire episode, but it didn't. I don't know, Dave. How do you feel?
I'm trying to be positive, Jody, but I'm feeling mixed on this. I thought that this really dragged for me, and it was hard. Like, the pacing of this whole season has really slowed down for me, and it's because we spent so much time in this 2024 period. When I think about other time travel stories that Star Trek's done in the past, it's maybe 2 episodes or a 2-hour movie. And this is like now up to 8
We're
hours
on like
content.
5, 6, 7 hours. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Since they travel back in time, and I still don't know where this is going. Really. Like, I'm still very, maybe I'm not supposed to know, but like, I'm just finding some parts of it, not too engaging for me.
Yeah.
I think that the stuff with Raffi and, the flashbacks with, Romulan kid,
Yeah.
Evan Longoria's character, I was like, I'm not really sure I care enough, right now. And so it's, I think that Alison Pill as Jurati, or as Jurati as this Jurati Borg Queen is interesting. I think that some of her scenes,
she's got her mannerisms great. Like, she's got how she talks, her style, and all that as well. Oh yeah, I think we got Adam joining us here. There is Mr. Adam. Can't hear him, but we can see him. Currently muted.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. We were just discussing how this episode is.
I kind of liked it. It brought me back a little bit tonight. Much better than last week.
All right, well, let's get on into it. I think Davan's going to join us when he can. We got 3 out of 4. So that's
I'm here with my giant coffee, just like Agent Wells, and I might, pair it up with 4 pieces of cake.
Yeah. You'd have a better time, I think. And that's including the stomach ache after. Anyway, let's get into this.
Let's do it.
As you can tell, I'm happy.
You're happy. Well, Adam's positive on it. So, and I'm sort of mixed at best. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe my mind will change by the end of the episode. Maybe I was too hard on it on my watch. I don't know.
Our friend Kevin Millard, he's saying like, well, it's like you're trying to judge like this little bit of a movie, right? It's like you're trying to watch like a certain like act of a movie, and then you have to stop and wait a week. But that's not how movies work. That's not how TV shows even work, really. So it's
the biggest problem.
I think Kevin's right, though. I mean, he said that the other night when we were talking to Enterprise, and I think I went in with a perspective tonight that TV's different now, Dave, and it's meant to be binge watched, and maybe we shouldn't be watching week to week.
Then why are they releasing it week to week?
That's a good question. It's a good question.
See, the biggest problem I have with this episode is at the beginning and at the end of this episode, we're no better off at all. There is literally no story that's changed here, other than we found out some backstory from something else. We found out the Q thing to a degree, but we already kind of knew that anyway.
We know where Jurati is now, and we know what she's up to.
Oh yeah, because that was such a big stretch to walk down the street and find her. That was wow, what a huge huge installment there.
Follow the trail of chewed up batteries.
Yeah, at least we know where she's going and what she's up to now.
I'm confused by it too, because why would she team up with Adam soon? Because but it's really the Borg Queen, right? And she's like, well, in a version where I'm from, you're famous, but in that timeline, the Borg had been eradicated by this confederation of humans or whatever. So that's a bad future for the Borg. That's why she agreed to help them in the first place and stop this from happening. So now she's like almost manifesting it to come full circle. It's confusing, like what this Borg Queen's motivations are.
Well, let's get the screenshots up and let's just go through this, so I can be done and over with and
Oh my goodness.
be medicated and
Go to sleep.
various other things.
Put this to bed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was convinced that we were going to get like another member of the Q Continuum in this guy, that Agent Wells.
Yeah.
It didn't end up being that at all. He ended up just being some guy who
Yeah.
met some Vulcans once.
I was actually hoping he was going to be part of the time travel thing, because he played in a different Star Trek series. He actually played one of the time enforcement guys.
Yeah, he was in Voyager. He played one of the 29th century guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the
we
Borg
got
King
another
is
one here.
here. Oh, let me pull down the
Let's
banner.
get rid of that title.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we got Davan. Welcome, Davan.
Hey, Davan, how are you feeling about this episode?
Still processing it. I just finished it a minute ago. But
I just finished it 3 minutes ago, Davan.
okay, so how did that extra 2 minutes help?
I finished it approximately 11 hours ago, and
Okay.
it's still pissing me off. Like
I don't
I'm actually upset about this.
Okay.
The best line of the
it's not
episode is right at
upsetting
the
me.
end. So you might have missed that.
I think I liked it better than last week's.
That's exactly what I said. I feel like we're a little bit
It's
back on track.
essentially the same goddamn episode.
No.
Oh yes, it is. We have not achieved anything in this episode.
Oh, sweet.
We literally are back
All
where
right,
we
let's
were.
get going because
Let's
I
get an
think
achievement
Yeah.
counter going.
I think we got to get into this
All right.
for sure.
All right. Anyway, we start off here. We got a flashback of a boy running in the woods. We have no idea what this is. And he's kind of oh, this is not working. Why isn't this working? All right, there we go. And he ends up coming across what appears to be Vulcans. And then all of a sudden we go to this. Now, this is the first of the many problems that I think that this episode has. This is boring beyond boring. Like this is I don't know what you guys are on if you enjoyed this, because wow. All right.
I found like this whole interrogation, even though he doesn't like the word interrogation, it's interview. I tend to agree. Like it was kind of a waste of time, wasn't it? Like, what do we really learn throughout all
This was literally somebody took 10 minutes worth of content and just stretched
the whole
it
point.
out.
The whole point of this episode, I think, is humans are stuck in the past. But we're trying to evolve, which is apparently rare in the galaxy, I guess. But that seems weird to me. So like I think some of the notions this episode puts forward I find odd. But maybe I'm not getting it. Maybe I just don't.
That's
get
the
it.
theme they brought up about humans in old TNG, though. So they're like
That's true.
revisiting an old theme.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like the Q used to say. Like Q used to say that to
Yeah.
Picard. That humans have this
Yeah.
potential, and I guess in the ways that Klingons and Romulans don't. So it's kind of interesting, maybe, but or any other.
No, I
species
believe
like
that Klingons and Romulans are pretty friggin' rigid.
Yeah,
Compared to
only humans are
yeah.
flexible.
No, I just think they seem in the Star Trek universe that we've seen, they're certainly one of the most flexible. Like even if you guys are reviewing Enterprise, like it's Archer usually just like trying to mediate between two very rigid sides that are like unchanging and unflinching, you know.
Well, yeah,
So-
if you think of like the Vulcans and the Andorians and
Out of all the
Yeah,
Enterprise
things like
episodes
that.
that we've done so far, Terra Nova I think is the worst one, and I still rather watch that than watch this damn episode again.
Really? Okay, so here's what I think about this
Oh,
scene.
It's brutal.
Is first of all, we need to figure out what happened from last week. Yes, it's boring, but interrogations are boring, and I didn't mind.
Are you
it.
kidding me? Some of the best movies with interrogations are incredible to watch.
Example.
Usual Suspects.
Basic Instinct.
I knew you were
There
there
gonna
are
say-
four lights.
even that episode with Picard seeing 4 lights or 5 lights or how many lights there were.
We're four.
But
That was an entire interrogation the entire time.
That was a
And it
two-parter
was
interrogation.
and it was still way more interesting than this. I don't get it. Anyway, it's
But a
fine.
crop shot
Everybody
has
has
spruced it up for you.
depends on who. Like Jean-Luc Picard
Picard.
in that Ryza uniform, maybe.
Yeah.
That's Rise of Speedo.
Set course to intercourse. All right.
That
Anyway.
course is done.
Yeah. Anyway, so we see the agent that obviously arrested them in the previous episode. We find out that he's with the FBI, which I think we already knew anyway. So again, we're not treading new territory here. He's investigating why there's aliens on the planet. This is basically a Fox Mulder before Fox Mulder joined Dana Scully on the X-Files. That's basically what this guy is playing, more or less.
More or less.
Yeah. And then literally it just kind of stops, and then we go to what might be the worst part of the entire episode is this. All right,
The relationship battling.
These two, you know what? I liked them at the beginning of the season. It's just getting very tiresome. It's Raffi going, let's do something spontaneous, and then it's Seven going, well, no, we got to do it this way. Yeah, let's do it this way instead. That's almost every single scene that they've had in the last like 4 episodes, right? But there was a PTSD thing in here, but this time it was 7. But then later we get the Raffi one again because we have to have a Raffi one for every episode now. That seems to be the rule. It's like a drinking game. If we had a drinking game where every time Raffi has either a flashback or she sees Elnor, we would all be drunk by now. It's brutal.
Yeah, like this episode was written by Cindy Apple and Kirsten Bayer, who Kirsten Bayer's like wrote a ton of like Discovery, especially the early Discovery seasons, and she wrote a bunch of like Voyager stuff. And like I this style is not always fun for me, like because it's a lot. It's very. I have demons, you have demons. Let's work out our demons together, and it's like there's not a lot of joy to it. I find it's mostly it's conflict driven, which writers love, like all writers, like you know. But it's I think that's there's sometimes I'm looking for them to have more fun, you know.
It's that therapy session style of writing in a way where it's just like there's something they want a single character to work out, so everyone they encounter is like
has to give them
input. That. It's like
give them some sort of input.
Like everything is a Christmas Carol now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They're like,
and this actually probably points out the biggest flaw in this episode, which is, in my opinion, is the 45 minutes where we literally achieve nothing and go nowhere. That's literally what this entire episode is to me. These two go back to the bar, which she broke the window.
Mm-hmm.
They talk to this guy who's sweeping up the window, and he goes, oh yeah, she left with some redhead dude. They went that way.
How did that work?
That's
so
the entire thing.
She broke the window, and some guy's like, hey baby, you want to come home with me?
Well, he was there before she did the window break, right? Like, she walked in and saw him, and he was like looking at her and stuff.
Yeah, but then
that was in last week's episode.
But then I guess he was like, I like this chick's style. I'm living with her or whatever.
But literally, these two characters who are supposed to be looking for the Borg Queen, okay, literally spend 45 minutes, or at least the entire episode anyway, within 100 feet of an area in LA. Like, I guess we couldn't get the pass to like go down one more street. Like they literally went down an alley, and then all of a sudden we're now in a parking lot behind this, and this is where everything's going down. Like, it's so lazy. Like, there's nothing going on here.
There's like a throwaway line where, like, because Seven doesn't have her implants, she doesn't have Borg proximity radar or something. Okay. And then it's all about, like, I guess the PTSD of being, her reconciling her Borg past, which we've dealt with a lot.
Well, we don't even get to that in this scene. Then we go back to interrogation again, where interrogation guy's got his iPad and he's showing pictures from the gala. Okay, which is fine. He goes, that's how we were suspicious of you. We found this, blah, blah, blah. And we have all this. And then we get, the young guy in meh eyes. All right. And then we're gone again. There's just so many breakpoints in this, but yet nothing is achieved. And that's the thing that bothers me. And we're still back. Like, keep in mind, we're now 15-20 minutes into the episode and we haven't achieved anything.
I think what they were trying to achieve with all of these interrogation scenes is that eventually this guy Wells is going to be on their side, right?
Yep.
Like they have, but what's that going to be worth in the long run? I'm not sure. It better have a payoff.
But this is the same thing that we've saw through the entire season now. We got, for instance, the whole ice thing with Rios.
Yeah.
Literally, the guy was detained by ICE. He saw people get beaten. He got beaten himself, and yet it's blown off in the next episode. Like there's no repercussions to any of the events that happen.
Well, when he told that ICE guy, like, I'm from the future and I work for a crusty old admiral, they called that back here.
Yeah, they called that back because I guess somebody wrote it down. But
word for word.
Yeah. Again, did that help anything?
Only to kind of make Picard go, I'm a crusty old admiral. He had to read it out.
Yeah, so which doesn't make any sense why he would say that anyway. But he previously they said that, oh well, he looks up at him as like a father figure. So then why would a guy who looks up to him as a father figure would say he's a crusty old admiral like that?
Who might be a living robot now, which
which might be a living robot now. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, we go to playback of a video of, I guess, one of the video logs of Adam Soong. And we find out that, what's her name? Corey,
I guess.
Corey, is it? Yeah. Okay. Corey is watching it on her Surface tablet. No endorsement intended, I'm sure. But anyway, trust me, anybody who has to support these things are not going to like them. But anyway, I'm just telling you now.
I'll take your word for it.
But they're brutal. Anyway, well, just don't ever drop one. Anyway, so she's going through all these logs. She's figured out everything that's going on because we learned that in the last episode. Again, we're not breaking new territory here. So she eventually finds these 3D goggle things that she puts on, which were kind of neat. I'll give them that.
Yeah, turn this video that Adam Soong, her pseudo dad, made many years ago, and turn it into a 3D environment. Like, this is is this technology exist today, or is this
so? This is we have something kind of like this, yeah. But I wouldn't say it works nearly as well as it was portrayed here. But
okay,
but it is what it is, right? That's part of the science fiction part of this. So that's
only 2024 though, right?
Yeah, well, it's alternate 2024. Who knows?
It's alternate.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. So she ends up going through, and now she's living in this log that he's in. And all of a sudden, she, a look on her face, and there's good old Q.
Non-native code.
Yes, which I guess this is the meta thing that Facebook's talking about, where Q gets to put himself into videos and stuff. That'll be fun. But anyway,
right. Okay, yeah.
this is the alternate meta. But anyway, so he comes to her and basically says, I can free you, blah blah blah. You don't need to be part of this crap anymore, blah 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 blah, and all that.
Yeah. This isn't Q. It's just like he programmed this little guy to come in at the right time here.
Yeah, it's not even really Q. It's just like something that he's put into the computer code, I guess, or whatever.
And why? What's his game here? Why does he want to manipulate Corey?
This is the only thing that was generally interesting to me is what are we doing here? Like, we find out a little bit later what's going on with him, but we all kind of already knew what was going on with him. But what are we doing here? We got 2 episodes left in this season. So we know that they're going to probably conclude this type of arc within the next 2 episodes. So I'm really looking forward to the next 2 episodes because I'm hoping they're going to redeem themselves, but we'll see what happens.
There's a lot to do. I will say that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing that's bothering me about this, because I think what we're going to do is we're going to have some carryover to next season. We're not gonna resolve everything in 2 episodes.
I'm not so sure. Like we've kind of seen in like Discovery and like in this newer era.
The last episode of the last season of Discovery apparently
was
was really fast. I haven't seen it, but
they tend to rush everything lately in these newer seasons into like the last episode, and then it feels very like sort of like what, like
everything gets kind of thrown to you at once, kind of thing.
Yeah, you can't digest it all in one and. Yeah, it felt too much, honestly, when you go back to Discovery. I don't know if you felt that, Dave, but I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're just like they were like in this season 4, like they were just dangling this thread, and it's like, okay, we're gonna get to meet the aliens. Sorry, spoilers for Discovery season 4, but it was like we finally get to meet these aliens, and then it's all all nice and neat, and it's all done, right? And so it's like,
yeah, I haven't seen that season yet, but
right. Anyway. So I guess I'm looking for like the big final like confrontation with the Borg Queen Girardi. What the heck's going on? Why is this all happening in the first place? And I feel like they're leaving us hanging for answers.
I'm hoping for the best here, because they started off so great in this season, and these last 2-3 episodes have been brutal. Like, I understand we have a dip right now. I get that, But
Don't you feel like though the last scene in this episode was kind of compelling and
Yes.
interesting?
I thought the
Yes.
last 10
the
minutes.
end was
saved this
literally
episode.
I was excited for the end thing. I want to see that. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it doesn't get botched, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, Q basically says, I'm going to give you something, and sure enough, she gets this courier thing, and all of a sudden there's this box that she opens. We all know what's in this box, let's be honest.
The
We
cure to
knew.
her disease.
Yeah,
And
the cure to her disease, which is labeled freedom, apparently, which is cool.
Freedom.
The thing that concerns me about this is the fact that it's literally the same size of vial that he already got, and that wore off.
Yeah, that was just a taste. Q's a pusher, man. He'll get you hooked.
Yeah, he's gonna hook you. So anyway, we go back to the Wonder Twins here, and they find the dead guy around the corner because literally in LA, nobody goes down this alley.
These are great detectives. I got to tell you.
Like, oh, they are just they're rocking.
Cagney and Lacey.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure. Like,
The
I
scene
think
where,
we
like-
need a spin-off, guys. I don't know about you, but
The scene where
Anyway.
Seven realizes she can read people, though, is pretty funny. She's like, I could like look at his face, and I knew everything I should say to him.
yeah, which was
It's like
which was
her,
neat, I guess.
her attention to detail, so it kind of makes sense. But I thought it was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Like even, and I purposely got this screenshot because if you look at Michelle Hurd, Raffi is clearly not impressed. She's probably figured out that they've already wasted 30 minutes doing nothing and we're still wasting time. But anyway,
Well,
so
they're still trying to reconcile if Girardi's like an enemy or not. We can save her. No, it's a lot of that.
Still in there,
she's,
Dave.
She's still in there.
still
There's
in there
some part of
somewhere.
her.
In there.
and I'm sure they'll find a way to get her out somehow. But anyway, so anyway, they pick up this clearly mucked up phone, and turns out that the battery is completely messed in it, and turns out that her little tricorder thingy can tell her that it's a lithium ion battery. Fantastic. Anyway, then they notice that the non-lithium ion batteries, which are in cars, by the way, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we don't use lithium ion batteries in cars. But anyway, they let me believe that it was the lithium ion that was the issue, but no, it's just any battery. Apparently, it doesn't matter.
Even electric
So-
cars.
So I'm sure Girardi's down at the dollar store just sucking on double A's now at this point. But we'll see.
Yeah, there was a couple like interesting lines in here where they were talking about like she has to you need to have metals or some kind of metals for assimilation to sort of work.
Yeah,
and-
which is neat. It adds a little bit more lore to it. I'm okay with that. So we got a couple scenes, and then we get a nice little scene of Girardi sucking on a battery.
She's a battery
cell or something.
vampire.
Yeah, she's the battery vampire now. So anyway, these two, I don't know why I got this shot, but anyway, these two end up walking into this parking
This was
lot.
fun.
And then
I liked all this. where she
Girardi
was,
running over cars. I'm down with this. Show me
Yeah.
again, as I've said in the last couple episodes, show me her rampage.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. That's the excitement that we could have. And it would have been super cheap to make too. You can't tell me it couldn't have been, because I'm sure they could have just got a couple junk cars and threw
Well,
them
they
around or
did.
something.
They did, Jody. That's exactly what she's running over.
This is what they got. This
Yeah.
is it. This is
And
the
she
whole
got some
scene.
boots. She wasn't wearing the boots last time we saw her. She had no shoes, I think. So did she
No, I
take
think
those
she
from
had
the
boots
guy?
on.
No, she had she originally had high
Oh, maybe
heels.
she
at the-
did take them for the guy. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that must be it, right?
Not explained at all, but anyway, yeah, okay, fair enough. I did like how menacing she was. Now, I will say one of the shining stars in this episode is Girardi, because Allison Pill has the Borg Queen's mannerisms in her face down pat.
She has turned out to be great during this season.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
absolutely. I can't
She was
think of
great
any
last
flaw with
season,
her.
too.
Let's not go that far.
I
But
didn't mind her
anyway.
either, Davin, last season, by the way.
I'd watch Allison Pill do anything. She's freaking awesome.
I like Allison Pill. I'm a fan.
I like Allison Pill anyway, but it's I didn't like season 1 with her, but I think a lot of that was the writing. I don't think it was.
Well, her
necessarily
whole like turn. And
her
like,
acting, I think, is always.
I got
great.
the crazy Romulan mind meld, and I'm gonna be. But I don't know, like a temporary insanity, whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, Girardi, or Queen Girardi, or whatever you want to call her now, she ends up throwing Seven against the dumpster, which I didn't happen to get, and then she starts like force choking this one, and she ends up raising her up, and clearly she's in stress here. And at this point, Seven's coming back. I love this though. She's got like battery acid down the side of her face, and which I would have liked to see a little bit of some burning or something, because literally you're sucking on battery acid in a human body. Like,
Yeah.
Nanites, Jody. Nanites.
Nanites.
Well,
Imagine what it's doing to her stomach.
Actually,
well,
I thought that even though,
you have to
she's
stay away from the wings for a while.
she says, well, she could have killed us or whatever. But even the fact that she throws Raffi against this like fence, and she throws Seven into the dumpster, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they would not get up very easily from these knocks they take.
And there
to
is a scene a little bit later where like Raffi's like, all right, I'm ready to go. And she starts walking. Then she kind of hunches over to the car and she's like, maybe not, so at least we got that, I guess. That's cool. But, I did like that. I did like the eye transformation when Girardi was fighting the Borg to put her down, basically.
Yeah, right.
So I like how
there's
they
Girardi
portrayed
in there
that.
somewhere. She's
Well, and actually, if you notice, if you ever rewatch it, which I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but if you did have to rewatch this episode, watch her facial expressions as that's happening, though, because literally Alison Pill goes back to Alison Pill for a second, and then she goes back to the Borg Queen again. It's really neat how she relaxes her face and then brings it back up again. Really cool. She did a fantastic job. Again, as I've said, the Borg Queen and Girardi,
this was a cool shot.
top notch.
She's just like
Awesome
leaving them in her wake, and she's just like walks off.
and she's
by
just
the
walking
bus.
around. And then
She
we
looks
got
like,
to what
it's reminiscent of Resident Evil there with the red dress.
it is. Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, Mila Jovanovic in the first one. This now we've gotten to what might be the worst part of the entire episode, which is the Rios part.
It's always night in France, by the way. It's never been
It's
daylight.
always
the whole
night.
season.
Never day there. Always night.
It's always nighttime.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everything just takes place. Well, it's like a lot. It's like the polls, man. They get like 6 months of just night there.
It's just like
afternoon time in California. It's nighttime in France. This is
yes, I guess.
Well,
I
this
guess
is true.
We've seen it be nighttime
Nitpicker.
in California at least once. We've never seen it be daytime in France yet.
That's true. But anyway, I guess it really doesn't matter. So anyway, useless, annoying kid whose name I don't know. The doctor, clinic lady, and Rios are hanging out in the ship. Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, we're
Okay.
good. Keep going.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, this kid drives me absolutely mental. I don't know why he's there. He's not good comic relief. I really don't get it. But anyway, I guess it's to show that when Rios decides he's going to stay, which I'm pretty sure he will. When Rios decides to stay, I guess he has, a kid to raise as well. But anyway. So the kid's like, man, I'm kind of hungry, bear. And he's like, okay, let's order some cake. 4 cakes. So now, I don't know about you guys, but here's a glaring problem that I have with this. If I tell a replicator that I want a cake, it's not going to get me a slice of cake, is it? I didn't say slice of cake. Don't give me 4 slices of cake.
I think
say
the
that.
replicator.
I said 4 cakes.
Oh no. I think the replicator is programmed to be a meal, not a.
personal
so?
servings.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But those are pretty big pieces of cake too. Like, is everybody a diabetic later on in Star Trek, or
They've
Well,
solved
diabetes one of the biggest problems that they have in the 21st
No. It's like
century?
synthahol. You don't get drunk.
Oh,
you don't.
fair
You
enough.
know.
Awesome. All right.
Normally, you have to give a little bit more specificity to these things to the replicators, where you would have to
Also
say
true.
like,
Slice of
I would-
apple pie. Yeah.
give me 4 pieces of cake, and then say like any
No.
kind of
Specify.
cake.
State what cake, and you're like Black Forest.
There's
or
a
whatever.
lot of cakes, but
Well,
it just
there's like looks like red or the red velvet. There's
There's a red
chocolate.
velvet there.
chocolates.
There's a vanilla,
Maybe a carrot.
double fudge, maybe.
Red
Yeah.
velvet. I can taste the red 40 from here.
So I got this particular screen because I like the caption. I felt like I was stuck in a shitty motel while I was watching this episode, so that's the reason why I grabbed this one. But this entire scene is this is total filler. It's useless. And the worst part about this is they were onto something here, because she basically is like, tell me something that we wouldn't know for 10 years, like us being together for 10 years, blah blah blah. And he's about to tell her something, and then the stupid kid interrupts them again, and he's like, I have a tummy ache. Well, that's because she's woman of the year here. She's mom of the year and letting her kid eat 4 pieces of cake. Like, what are you doing? But
And
anyway,
a doctor.
she's also a doctor,
know
exactly.
better.
So
if you
she
could order
definitely know.
anything from a replicator, would you be a little bit more imaginative? It's
It wouldn't
Well,
be
no,
cake.
he's also a kid. He's a kid. Maybe cake was the first thing that hit his mind, and he went, "Hey, cake." I get that. That's
I'd say,
fine.
give me all the cookies. That would be my thing. But
I don't know how the replicator would handle all the cookies. What's a serving of cookies? I guess is a good question. But
3
anyway,
cookies.
is it 3? Okay.
Cookie Monster, rah 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 rah.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, and they were on to something here, and then the kid interrupts them. She looks away, and then she's like, she smiles, and she comes back, and then does the old smoochy smooch on him. So you really have just degraded the entire scene by doing that, because you're like, oh, well, I need to kind of know you better, blah, blah, blah. Tell me something I wouldn't know for 10 years. And then you're like, never mind, I'll kiss you anyway.
Yeah. Well, like he
Like-
could say anything. She wouldn't be able to call him on it. But
Well,
like on
she
the
can't
other hand,
back him up on it, I guess. But
The Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup. Woo.
no, maybe that's
Let's not get crazy here. Let's not.
yeah, like,
But
Whoa.
like
you
I
really
think
are going for science fiction.
I've said this before, but I do like these two. I didn't think that that Rios and Girardi had any chemistry. I didn't get why they were sticking
I
these
get
two
that.
together. I like this better, but
Convenience.
on the other hand, I'm like, what? Where are we going?
The
with
end
this?
game is we're losing Rios after.
He's not going back to the Stargazer, like
No, that's
Or he
my
takes
theory.
them with him to the future. But
I don't
you're
think
probably
that's
right,
true,
Jody.
Jody. I think that he's too popular of a character. I think he's coming back, but Davan nailed it. I think they're going back with him.
Oh no!
I hope I don't
agree
see
with
this
Jody,
woman in
actually,
season
I
3.
was just being a bit contrary because, like, no one's going to care about Rios once they get the band back together next season.
That's right.
Like, it's
yeah, once the
already announced.
TNG
They're
crew's
getting
all
the band
around,
back
no one gives a
together.
shit about Rios.
Nobody cares.
no time
Poor
for
Rios.
I just
Just give me 8 episodes of Worf.
So now we're
Yeah.
back to
I'll
Secret
be
Agent
happy.
Man, and Secret Agent Man now has a dilemma because he's like, oh, life sucks, blah blah blah, and now Guinan is in a separate room where she ends up meeting Q. So the first time that they meet, they clearly are not enemies
Well,
because he's like, oh, you're Guinan. Well, we're a little early, but you're Guinan.
he's future Q and she's past Guinan, and he says, yeah, we haven't met yet.
Yeah, we haven't met yet. Right.
But
The time is irrelevant to a Q.
That's
it
right.
is. So there's a present Q of there's a Q of the 21st century. Like that's what's sort of hard to figure out.
Now,
here.
another shining star in this episode is Q. John Delancey nails it again. Like the guy's
Yeah,
got
this scene
great
was cool.
mannerisms. His facial expression, everything is great. Like I love him.
He's always
that guy.
great. Like he doesn't
Like even
matter.
this sad thing when he's talking about, I'm dying, essentially. Like my life is ending, and I didn't realize that this was something that it could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's kind of getting a grip. He's facing the term of what he's been given, right?
Look at that shot, though. That picture's amazing because you see the worry.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I
it's-
grabbed it.
It's everything that Q isn't.
Yes.
If you
That
remember,
face.
the
And again,
Voyager-
John Delancey, fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Well, underrated in my opinion.
if you remember the Voyager episode Death Wish, where there's the
Mhm.
other Q who he goes on because
Yeah, which he ends up helping.
Right, but
at
like
the end, yeah.
that guy ends up like when that Q who
Quinn.
comes
Quinn was the
Quinn,
other.
he
Yeah.
does die. Like that sets Q on this whole path where he ends up starting like the Q civil war
Yes.
about going against like the status quo and the establishment. And so yeah, you're seeing like shades of that sort of in this performance or sort of thing. And I guess why are they doing this though? Like I guess
His acting's only gotten better in time. Like
Mhm.
My guess is
he's-
it's not
he's
just
fantastic.
him, the Q are dying.
Well, we don't know that yet. Yeah, and
No, I'm just
again, that's something I said a couple episodes back. I think you're right on that one, Devin. I think the Q as an entity is they're all getting faded out somehow.
Fading away, as he says.
Yeah.
They're just fading away.
And I liked his little analogy with the star. The star burns bright and then fades. Blah blah blah.
He's
So,
like,
he's
"But I'm
he's
not."
comparing himself to a star, which I think
Right.
is pretty funny.
No,
And
he
we don't-
wishes he was like a star.
Yes,
And
he
we-
wishes like he was a star. Yeah.
we know from the Discovery season 4 spoilers that the Q are not around by the 31st century. Like they're just gone, or haven't been heard from at least in a long time.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
I'm sure that's going to play into it somehow. So anyway, and at this point, I like the fact that Guinan was kind of worried about that. Like she was kind of, that kind of shows the caring and compassion that Guinan actually does have, even though you don't see it a lot. But
the empathy.
it's there. And then I like the fact that Q tried to snap her out of existence and couldn't. And
I'm
he
trying
was
to
kind of
vaporize you right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to vaporize you right now. I like that line. That was
He's had many chances over the years. Why now? But
because he likes to play with his food. I don't know.
I think
but
also
anyway.
Guinan, is she knows who her enemies are, and by losing Q, who replaces her? There's always a void, right? So you need somebody.
Exactly. Yeah. So then we go back to Adam soon. He's now confronting Corey, and Corey's confronting him and basically saying, "Yeah, you're an asshole. I know who I am now, and you lied about Mom. Mom doesn't exist.
Thanks,
all
Dad.
This. Yeah, thanks, Dad.
I'm leaving.
All that. Yeah." And she's basically said, like, "Screw you, old man. I'm going home," kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Spiner acts
and
the shit out of this episode too.
Yes, he does.
There's
He
a lot
looks
of good
pissed
Spiner's awesome.
off.
Yeah. Actually, some of the screenshots I got later on, even better. But anyway, we see Corey, and then Corey walks outside, and he's like, "Don't go outside." Oh, wait a second. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, your buddy Q, he gave me this. Yeah.
I hated all of this. I hated everything.
It was stupid. It was stupid. I agree. But they gotta employ her somehow for the season. So I guess.
What did you hate, guys? Like, did you hate the scene, or do you hate her?
What's the
dialogue
storyline
between the two? I didn't like.
Like Adam Soong and Corey Soong, and why do I care about any of this? Like, it's sort of
this is building up to the reason why the whole Borg guys are going to be fighting everything, right? So I'm sure this is going to be explained in the next episode or two, but we'll see.
I already knew Adam Soong was a bad guy.
All the Soongs are, for the most part. Like they all cause shit for the most part. Like the one that was in Enterprise caused shit all the time.
He's going to do something crazy. They're setting up his motivation for whatever
there's something he's going to do. Maybe he ends up wiping out the Borg.
This is all set up this episode. Like you guys.
This is all set up.
There's been a lot of setup
for the next couple episodes.
There's been 2 to 3 episodes of setup at this point now, Devin.
Yeah. The last
so I'm
couple
just waiting for
our
our thing. But anyway, she's like, the line that I hated the most about this is that I'm going to call the cops. Like, that's literally the thing he's going to be worried about at this point. Like,
that actually made me laugh, so I liked it. Because I
laughed. But again,
it was so stupid. It was just like, I'm going to call the cops. Like, and like,
oh my god, like
what?
This reminded me of
this guy just tried to kill somebody with a car like a little while ago. Like, this isn't an issue for him. Like
the whole Gen Z generation, like the new, like their aimless rebellion at nothing. Like, I guess I'm relating to it as a dad too here, because I'm like,
I'm with you on this one as well.
What's your issue, Tissue? Like,
it's at least once a week something comes up in my house where one of my kids is pissed off at something I said because I said something in a certain way or something like that. It's like, oh, give me a break. Stop fighting everything.
I agree with you guys on this. And one thing that struck me in this episode, because I felt the same.
Davan gets to deal with this later on in life.
But is that she's too old.
Issa Briones is like 25, right, or whatever.
Yeah,
she's too old to be acting the way she is. Yes. But I understand that because she's been sheltered. I can understand the immaturity there because she doesn't have the social aspect of things, right?
Arrested
development. There you go. That's a good way to say it.
Well, yeah, because he hadn't been fully forthcoming about her history. She's like, you told me about I had a mom. He's like, well, it seemed to make you feel good, like,
Yeah. What's your problem?
Is this his sin? His biggest sin?
Yeah, that's not his biggest sin.
Yeah. Everything that Issa Briones actress does in this show kind of bores me, and I kind of don't even need
it's kind of cringy,
right? But like I like the Adam.
He gave us the acting.
I liked her sister. Her sister was fun.
No, she wasn't.
The one that was kicking ass all the time, yeah.
No, I don't need no.
I like that one.
Like, whatever.
Wait, you're talking about in the season 1? You're talking about, right?
Yeah, in season 1, yeah.
Dosh.
Soji or Dosh.
Yeah, I like Dosh, not Soji. Mind you, this is the third character that she's played that looks the same. But anyway. But that's she's just trying to get the record from Brent.
Because remember, there was all these other androids when they got to Android Planet at the end of season 1, and there was a bunch of like identical versions that had more like Data-like makeup or whatever.
Yeah,
you remember?
Look at that face, though, boys. That's some acting right there. That's
Brent Spiner's a lot of fun. Anyway, so here we go back again with the Wonder Twins. And at this point, she's like, let's go kill some poor queen. And then she's like, oh, let me first remember this whole heartfelt thing that happened.
No. You manipulate me. No, I don't. Yes, I do. I manipulate the crap out of you.
Yeah. There was that whole thing, which I didn't bother to get a screenshot of because literally, how many times can I show you a screenshot of the two of them standing there? Like, there comes a point where
the whole flashback with the Romulan kid. What's his name?
Elnor.
See, this season's having is like the reverse Girardi effect for Jody there on me with Raffi. Where last season I loved Raffi, and this season they're just like,
I like Raffi more
stretching my love
the last
for her.
couple episodes. The first 4 or 5 episodes that we watched of this season, I liked Raffi. I'm now not liking Raffi again.
Raffi's very tortured, you know.
I think she needs to be in Starfleet, like having a purpose. Like she has to, I think we liked her in that role.
I think she's going to be around for next season. I think she's going to be part of the bridge. I think she's going to be there, but I don't think Rios will be. But we'll see what happens, I guess. Anyway, it turns out that she kind of guilted Elnor into staying in Starfleet Academy and instead of going back to his world of Romulan ninjas and you know, or Romulan.
I gotta go back to the Quat-Malad or Vashti. Yeah, and like he could die there. He could die. By staying, anybody in Starfleet, you're taking a risk. You know, every
you know, it's like joining the army. Like tomorrow you could be dead. Like that's just part of the job. I hate to bring it to you. And for some strange reason, for somebody who's as seasoned as Raffi is, you would think she would kind of clue into this a little bit more. But I understand she's grieving. I get that. I totally get that. But her eye is never on the prize during these scenes. Like she's always like, yeah, okay, but let's talk about this some more.
I'm still very confused by one thing about this season in particular.
When
the timeline, when the Stargazer blows up at the beginning of this season, or whatever, we have to self-destruct, and then Picard wakes up in this new reality, and it's only certain people who remember the old life. Raffi's one, Elnor's one, but why only these people? Why not?
We
Soji?
assume Q brought them.
But why? Like, what is going?
This season is burdened by convenience.
There's a lot of convenient storytelling in this season, for sure.
Get to the point of it all, It's just
that's how I felt for the entire of this episode. Can you just get to the point?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we go back to Adam Sung drinking his ass off now after Corey left. And all of a sudden, the Borg Queen appears in his stairwell. Now, again, I like this. I like the kind of throwaway line they had here, which I think you have the audio clip of, Dave.
Oh, I have the one at the end. Just the.
Is it devil in a red dress? Devil in a red.
No.
Who's in the mood to add a little of their biological and technological distinctiveness to our own?
So I like that line, but I also like the one before it.
I should probably pick up that music swell at the end.
Where she, we're probably going to get a strike now. Thanks. But anyway, it's fine.
But isn't that the Borg Queen music from, pardon me, First Contact? Yeah.
It might be, yeah, or a riff on it. What I did like about this whole, it's almost like in Batman, which I know Davan is not a huge Batman fan, or a lot of different comic book things. When two villains team up, like this, this whole vibe was for me of like the Borg, Girardi, Borg Queen, and Adam Sung teaming up, who I think are two legitimate villains, like for sure. Adam Sung may be a more sympathetic one, I guess. He loves
I don't know about that.
This is basically Batman Forever.
He seems like a pretty bad bloke for the most part.
This is very Batman Forever. That's what this is.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the Riddler, the Jim Carrey Riddler, shows up to talk to the Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face, almost, And,
yeah. So Girardi is Two-Face, and the Riddler is.
I thought it was the other way around, actually, but
it could be. Could go both ways, really.
Or like even when Catwoman and the Penguin.
She's got two people in her though, so I think the Two-Face makes more sense for her. But anyway, I did like this scene. I didn't mind it. I liked Brent Spiner's reaction as well. Like, oh dear God, what's going on here? Right? Like he's like, what?
I've had a day, man.
Seriously.
He has had a day. That's why he's drinking.
My genetically modified test tube baby walked out on me today.
I
And
love when
also
she says you
now
can
you're
die in like a puddle of your own 90 proof vomit or whatever.
Yeah, 90 proof vomit.
There's a couple good lines in here for sure.
I like the futile and resistance line as well, which she said at the beginning, which
This
is
episode's got
obviously a
some
play.
good stuff though. It's frustrating, but
That's what's frustrating about it. And then we go back to not so good stuff, which is this guy going, yeah, okay, well, let's talk some more.
I met a Vulcan in the woods once.
I met a Vulcan in the wood once. There's a coincidence.
This guy.
So it is very
over.
Duchovny-ish then, isn't it? X-File-ish. And
Oh yeah, totally.
This guy's tortured from his youth. And
I'm actually surprised this guy's
this.
last name isn't Mulder.
I wish
I
it
like
was.
this
Scully.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he's got my mug, guys. Look.
It looks like the same mug.
It's the same mug. They called it his giant ass coffee. What's wrong with giant ass coffee, I say?
This
What's
was
in that,
a very
Dave?
Star Trek little subplot.
Is it actually coffee, Dave?
Not tonight, right now.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But anyway.
But, it's late.
No, I thought it might be girls' night out, but anyway.
No, I'm off that now.
Anyway, so we get this rather convenient plot of the fact that this agent turns out that he had this experience, which we saw at the beginning of the episode. So again, not surprised at all. Like, why did you show me that original scene? What did that help us? Anyone?
Well, it just set this up, I guess, but like
it set this up so now we've already spoiled what was exciting about this particular scene, right? Like that's the problem that I have with this whole episode is we don't achieve anything. We don't achieve anything except for the final scene. The final scene achieves something.
What bothered me,
Corey running around for 5 hours until that thing wears off, and then she's going to end up burning in the sun. Yeah, okay, that might be
some
fun.
Shots of the actual like the flashback where we saw the Vulcans a little bit more clearly?
Yeah, I think it's coming up in a second here.
Yeah.
So anyway, the two of them have this thing. So then we go back to the kid in the woods, which we saw at the beginning of the episode. So again, no new ground here. But we get to see finally what they were doing. It turns out they were doing something.
Science? Surveying. Yeah.
Surveying.
Science.
Let's go with surveying. So anyway, he's like, whoa, who are these guys? I don't know why this was that exciting to him, because at this point, he's a pretty good distance. He's not going to see their ears. So they just look like people.
Yeah, but he's in the woods and they're doing something they probably shouldn't. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, she
He's a
turns
kid.
around. You can
look,
see her ears.
what's in the water?
The water part is the only thing that was interesting to me. That's why I got this shot.
Like a ship, maybe? Like
I didn't see this before. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like stuff going on to freak out a kid for sure.
There's something going on that's now freaking him out, which is fine. I'm you know what? I'm not shitting on the kid at all. It's fine. But
you were shitting on the other kid.
They're the same kid.
The Rios kid.
Oh, the Rios kid's an asshole. Like, he's walking around hitting shit on the fucking ship and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
he's ordering cakes.
And on top of that, his doctor mother, who should be well versed in parenthood at this point, has absolutely no fucking control over her kid. Like, she's not like, you don't need 4 slices of cake, just take 1. Like, she didn't say that. Any reasonable parent would have did that. Would have been like, oh, look at the selection. Which one would you like? Not take all 4.
It's like all you can eat at like Tucker's Marketplace or something.
Yeah, and then he's got a bellyache after. Like, there's a fucking surprise. But anyway, whatever. It's fine.
But this whole thing with the mind meld, right? Like, because Jody, from Enterprise and Adam and all of us here, like, we know that from when T'Pol gets that mind meld in that the episode we watched a few weeks ago from season 1, like, that's kind of like not in practice by many Vulcans. And he uses this mind meld to try to wipe the kid's memory. This is
so why are these guys doing mind melds is a good question. And that's kind of what I was thinking.
It's a bit, it's not, it wouldn't be completely out of the realm of possibility, but it's odd.
Well, it failed. So maybe he wasn't versed in it yet. You know, he couldn't do it.
Oh, there you go.
These are rogue Vulcans as well.
Yeah,
what are they doing on
These
Earth
are rogue
anyway,
Vulcans. Maybe these are the Vulcans that hang out on that extra planet in Enterprise.
Pajem?
Pajem. Yeah. Pajem. So there you go. So anyway, he does the mind meld thing. And then Picard's like, oh, was it actually this? And he's like, puts his fingers up.
Sarek did this to me once.
Yeah, Sarek did this to me once. Is this what it is? Kind of thing. But anyway,
Spock
this
did it
is
to him once
fine.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I just think when it comes to, convenience, this is literally the epitome of that. Like this is just, wow. The one agent that would have caught them happens to be a guy that happened to have come across Romulans in the 70s.
Well, yeah, I was like, what year
Okay.
was this supposed to be taking
It
place?
would have been
How
in the
old-
1970s at that point because of the guy's
based on
age,
how
right?
old this guy is, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And like just this,
Well, and
and he-
originally I thought maybe these are like the Carbon Creek guys, right? Like these might be like part of T'Pol's thing, right? From the Carbon Creek episode, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well maybe it was that, but they established back then that like these guys were the first people to be on this planet, and that was in the 50s.
yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe these are the remnants of that. I don't know.
I guess it depends how old we think Wells is in this episode.
Well, I would say Wells is easily in his late 40s at this point.
yeah. Oh, sure. Okay.
So that would be my guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
70s. Let's go like 6, maybe the 80s at the latest, probably.
Maybe latest 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Okay. But like, yeah. But he saw them beam away, and that's why when he saw the clip of the shimmering with Picard, he came back to it. But
again, this is I don't know where we're going on this other than here's another convenient way to get these guys out of a jail type situation. Like, okay.
Well, the only point of all this is to get this guy as an ally. Like that's the only
Yeah,
reason
so
to set any of
I'm
this up.
assuming he's coming back. I don't know. If he doesn't come back, that was a total waste of time. So anyway, we go back to the ship, and Rios is trying to fix the transporting system. He's figured out that the Borg Queen has locked that down.
Jody, they still go back. They still use file folder icons for their operating system in the 25th century.
They do. Yeah, they do. And I'm not sure what those numbers mean at all. The thing that I always think is interesting is how the error messages are always perfectly centered on any window that comes up. Because anybody who knows anything about programming or computers, that wouldn't actually happen. You would have like more space on one side or something like that. They're always so pretty to look at. But anyway, they're for TV, so it makes sense. But I like how in the background there it says pattern buffer and stuff like that. So that's kind of neat. But anyway, it is what it is. We don't understand it because we don't understand 25th century technology.
I just thought it was funny
simple.
that in the future where they don't use file folders, it's how like the save icon is the old floppy disk now, even though most people have never seen a floppy disk.
Yeah, kids in this day and age, if they see a floppy disk, they're like, "You 3D printed that save icon? That's so neat."
Right? We have. So,
I have floppies like around here. Like I know I have floppies around
Do
here.
you have the
somewhere.
cassettes you used to download? I remember those.
Oh yeah, I got those too. But yeah. Anyway.
Even like the whole idea of cut and paste, like
yeah,
who does that?
Anyway, so he's trying to get the transporters working, and the kid's like, "Did I do that?" Because the kid's fucking useless. But anyway, so then we go back to now. These two are like, "Oh, I think I figured it out. I talked to Q. And Picard's like, "Oh, well, this guy had a mind meld." Okay. And then, by the way, now he's lost his job.
Oh, there was that whole earlier scene.
Did I do that?
The whole early, we didn't even talk about like Guinan was able to like manifest herself in the other room, like with the
yes, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I was
didn't
like,
get
this is a
screenshot of
new
it.
ability.
This is an ability that we've never seen before. We probably will never see again, and probably is an ability that she developed out of convenience. But anyway, that's fine.
And only Picard could see her.
And only Picard could see her. Yeah. Okay.
Guinan could have been left out of.
Let's just move on from that. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah. So anyway, we go back to Adam Sung, and there's Girardi hacking some satellites and stuff, and she's like, your fucking internet's so slow.
So I don't remember screens like that in the 80s.
This isn't the 80s.
Well, we're not in the 80s. We're in 2024.
Oh, pardon me. Yeah. I don't know why I'm thinking.
And these screens exist. This is a real screen.
So. Yep. Yeah, that's a real screen.
A couple of developers at my work
big
have
widescreen.
Yeah. So yeah, they're stupid resolutions. They're a real pain in the ass if you're remote onto them. Well, that's all I can tell you. But anyway, she's doing something. We don't really know what she's doing. And she's like, so you can do one of two things. You can go chase after that girl of yours, or you could be awesome in history.
Yeah, you can die you can become like a great icon of history, or you can die sad and alone. Which one do you want to do?
Yeah, which one do you want to do? And he's like, I'll take world domination for 1,000, Alex. And then that's basically the whole thing. Like, okay.
Yeah. Like again, like I was bringing it up earlier. Like, yeah, like the Borg shouldn't want that future that that we
No,
saw.
because
earlier
she was in custody. She was the last one.
She was the last
like-
Borg. Humanity was much more effective at fighting
Humanity
the Borg
wiped
in
them
that
out.
timeline.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think that she. So my theory is she's trying to alternate that as well. Like she's trying to make it so the Borg
It's like
are,
the best of both worlds.
Well,
maybe?
she's realistically trying to assimilate Earth before there's ever a chance
change
of
the
that happening,
past
right?
completely.
Yeah, completely. So
She's-
at that point, she's making her own history at this point.
The thing about this season that's weird is a lot of the best stuff is the Q stuff, but really
Yes.
this season didn't need any of that Q plot. It would have been better, I think, just as this weird.
Well, we don't know where the Q plot's going
Borg
though.
Queen plot to get.
Yeah,
restart
maybe.
I'm
the
wondering
Borg
if we're going to
because
see
they've
a
been
Q
defeated or
versus the
something, you know?
Borg type situation where these two guys are going at it.
Yeah,
And humanity's kind of
we
in
really
the middle.
don't know where the Q's going on this.
We have no idea what Q's.
Other than that, the trial is still continuing.
We're not even quite sure what Q's responsible for in this whole thing or not. Like in terms of, he says, I didn't bring them back in time. They did that on their own. But didn't you kind of want them to? Or what were you trying to get? What was he trying to get Picard to do originally? Like,
yeah, exactly.
He wanted to show him Nazi.
I really hope they at least explain Q. The Borg thing, I think they're just going to explain it by saying, yeah, she's going to try to assimilate Earth. Like, okay, well, that's easy.
Restart
but
the collective. Or...
restart the collective in this time period or something, because she does say that she needs materials that he has access to. So what would he have access to? He's a bioscientist.
I guess certain chemicals, or I don't know,
or chemical warfare.
I guess,
maybe,
stuff she can work into, because she says they can't do a proper assimilation because she doesn't have the same technology that they would have, I guess. In
or something like that.
Doesn't
Now,
have
again, I tried
nanotechnology.
to get a picture of Alison Pill doing like the facial expressions of the Borg Queen, but I didn't do a good job of that. But again, hats off to her. She does a great job. Literally, if you didn't know it was Alison Pill, you'd be like, oh, that's the other girl, right? Like she does a great job. She's got the mannerism. She's got the timing of her voice correctly. Everything's just well done, I thought. So there's another star. I'm trying to get some positives here, guys.
I took a screenshot if I could. Yeah, well, there's a good one
go for
too, right? Like just like this.
Yeah,
one,
that's a good one right there. Look at that. Yeah,
or even like this one. She's.
Yeah, I actually have that one.
Yeah, so back over to you, but
yeah, but yeah, no, just the mannerisms of her, fantastic. Like she really does a good job of playing that character, for sure. So, and he's like, okay, tell me what you want done. And then now they're back at Guinan's bar, and all three of them are talking, and Guinan's just in the background, just sweeping, because she's not really part of the story anymore, or anything. But anyway, and then we're back to this scene again, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to kind of make a call and stuff, and
get some special ops guys, right?
And now we're back to the bar again, because that's just how this episode is cut. I'm pretty sure a monkey that was on some form of crack actually edited this episode, because it is brutal. But anyway, I have nothing but praise to say here. But anyway, yeah, we got disappointed Raffi again, because that's what her default face is disappointment. But anyway, so now they've decided, oh, well, we got to go find this or that and blah, blah, blah. And that's it. No useful dialogue in this.
The ending was kind of like, just the whole, like, here are the mercenaries. We're not at the ending yet? No, what are we at?
We're almost at the ending. Okay, so anyway, they part ways, and he's like, good luck, my friend, which means we're probably not going to see Guinan again, I'm guessing. We'll see. I think this is the end for Guinan.
Well, I think we'll see Whoopi Goldberg again.
Yeah, exactly. And then at this point, we'll see probably Whoopi Goldberg in the future part. So they all decide to leave, blah, blah, blah. And then we get this cool little shot of the nanite things. At that point, we see
a little different, like more green than usual.
Well, I think it's funny that they're all cubes, right? Like that's the thing that's interesting to me.
A couple of them have little arms and things you can see.
Yeah, they got little tiny things like this one here in the middle here. That one's got like little arms. But past that, yeah, it was neat. And then it zooms out to her finger, basically. So we know that she has the ability to implant these with her fingers. And then we get this cool little shot of, all these little kind of veiny nanite things taking over her head. And then we have Adam Soon, who is a bioscientist, but somehow has access to mercenaries.
Well, he says, "Thank you, General." So
Yeah,
I
thanks,
guess the
General.
General owed him a favor.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe he made a
Send
couple
them some
extra
mercenaries, right?
Maybe
Yeah.
he made a couple extra Corys for the General. I don't know.
He is rich, too. So I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. So anyway, and he's like, "So yeah, here's your mercenaries that you wanted." And then the
Best of the
mercenaries
best.
are like, "Yeah, the mercenaries. Well, they're the best of the disgraced ones, I guess." But
Yeah.
anyway, it is what it is. And the guy's like, "So why are we here?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Let me explain." I'm not going to explain, but anyway. But she's got this like stupid look on her face, basically. But I liked it. I don't know.
I thought the rest of the mercenaries were very passive about all this, and they kind of, they didn't seem too worried that they were going to be next.
And then she touches his face. She's like, "Don't worry, it only hurts for a minute." And then she's like, she touches her face, and then obviously these nanite things show up. And then at that point, Adam Soong's like, "Oh, I might have just made a deal with the devil."
He's having a really weird week. He's like,
"Yeah, like this is a weird week for him. Like he tried to kill somebody, then that didn't go well."
Yeah,
and then
a guy named
weird
Q,
genetic kid
who hacked
run
his
off
3D printer and printed a business card and sent him on this mission to go kill do a hit and run. And
all I had to do was upgrade my antivirus to the newest version of Norton, and none of this would happen.
Yeah, I got a better firewall.
Yeah, but it would have slowed down your computer, Adam. So you made the right call. But anyway. And then literally we see another transformation shot, and the mercenary's eyes goes Borg black, and then it went to black, and that was it. That was the whole episode. So it's I don't know, guys. We
can bring it down for a sec, just to
go for it.
To break it all down. Like it's not like I'm not fully negative on it, but I'm like I feel like the pacing of these like long arc seasons that release week to week, when you're trying to break them down and trying to enjoy it the way that the network or Paramount wants you to. They want you to watch this week to week, and you're just like, but where?
But I think Adam hit it earlier when he was talking about the conversation with Kevin. If this was binged, would we feel as bad?
Probably not. But I
still think this is a total waste of time, this episode. I learned more in last week's episode than I did in this week's episode. And the whole point of progressing a story is to learn new things about the story. And I didn't get anything really, other than we got confirmation that Q is dying, which we kind of already knew anyway. And then we got basically something to do with mercenaries. Everything else literally doesn't do us any good, other than maybe the agent guy will come back.
Maybe. Like and then I guess the whole thing with this time travel, they keep making this point about we don't want to change the timeline too much. They've kind of thrown They've just kind of thrown that all out the window now.
They've destroyed this.
Like first
they've let out all these guys on the bus.
They let out the guys on the bus. The redhead guy in the bar is dead now, right?
Yeah, he's dead.
Killed.
He's done.
These mercenaries presumably are all going to be assimilated.
Wouldn't have been part of this,
I guess, or something.
So this timeline's already massively screwed up, right?
Right.
So it just doesn't. I don't get it. I don't know, Adam. What do you think?
I'm hopeful for next week.
These are the rosy-colored glasses. You want to hear about this episode?
Yeah. Give us the rosy-colored.
All right, give us the rosy glasses version of it.
All right, here we go. So, the whole thing, like, let's just assume they knew what they were doing when they wrote this episode. Okay, so
that's a hard assumption, but anyway, let's do it.
We brought up a lot of the conveniences. Okay, now,
which is most of them.
Conveniences are annoying in writing, but they're the most easily explainable in like timey-wimey time travel shenanigans, because you can be like, is this a self-fulfilling paradox? You're like, well, why does this, like, the agent, it's pretty convenient that he's the one agent that it's like that could be like a self-fulfilling paradox sort of thing. And they sort of addressed that with a line. I forget what the line was now. It was to that guy, I think. Yeah, to that guy, because he's like, oh, yeah, that's something to think about. She's like, you had to be that
yeah,
because
Guinan says to him, like, oh, maybe you were here to do that,
Yeah, so they're sort of addressing, I think, the conveniences.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping somewhere in the plot here, it's kind of tied up in a nice bow. which I think they actually are leaning towards a little bit, because they've sort of brought the two villains together. You know, it needed that. There were just all these crazy threads of plots going everywhere. There's the Rio story, and there's the Raffi Seven story,
that's the
and they're
big
all
gripe
off
I
doing
have
their
here.
own thing. But now they're bringing it all back together. You know, I feel like something was accomplished with this episode, where it's like the villains have now consolidated, and they have their army for the final showdown or whatever. And I mean, Picard's back with the crew. Like, they're all back together. You know what I mean? It's just consolidating everything together.
They were
And
back together last episode.
They'll
I guess I wonder, like,
rapid
too,
fire
though,
through all
like,
this.
does this have, maybe it does, like, there's the business side of this where we have to have 10 episodes because, you know, business reasons or for entertainment or syndication purposes. But I feel like this story probably could have been told less, maybe 8 episodes. We'll see, but like, it seems like
this
there's
again is the big problem that a lot of people have with the new Treks is we're taking 8 episodes worth of content and stretching it out to 10. And the problem that I think they really need to start addressing is that, because if you look and compare limited series that, like, let's say British television does, they do, you know, IT Crowd, for instance, did 6 episodes in a season. And the reason why they did that was because they knew they couldn't drag it out that long. They're all separate episodes. And that happens a lot with a lot of British television. So to me,
but as we're watching Enterprise and as we reflect on Next Gen, there was a lot of duds.
oh, absolutely.
But
these are all self-contained episodes. We're not talking one big story arc that lasts an entire season like these things are.
You still have to get back to what's going on.
Look at Next Gen. Next Gen had some stinker episodes, but there was some fantastic episodes too.
But you know what? Those stinker episodes are still kind of rewatchable and enjoyable in a way
they
that
certainly
these
are.
ones
But
aren't.
They can be.
Like, I can't even remember what happened.
Code of Honor and Sub Rosa I'll never watch again.
No, Code of Honor. Let us speak not of Code of Honor.
Think about that whole storyline with his dad and his mom that I think they're gonna have to come back to, I guess. And like, I'm like, it's almost like, and there was a quote from Patrick Stewart where he's like, I thought it was important that who I am as a person now is going to be more informing the Picard character. And like, it's kind of speaking to this whole, like, Patrick Stewart has so much creative control and so much influence on the show that
I think that's part of our problem.
They're trying to like do all these things, and I'm like, it's cohesively, I don't know how well it's working for me.
I admire the idea of giving Picard this much backstory and this much other things. Okay, I admire that, but I think we're going the wrong way with it. And that's the thing that bothers me. And you got to remember, I was super excited at the beginning of this season. I liked where it was going. I liked how they were doing things. And just once we hit that 5th episode, 6th episode mark, bang, all of a sudden I'm back on.
As soon as they went back to Earth.
No, I even like the first couple episodes back to Earth. I like those.
Once they got to Earth, Picard became Patrick Stewart again. Like, he keeps phasing in and out. Sometimes he plays Picard.
And sometimes he's just himself.
He's Patrick Stewart again. Yeah. And
he's like, hey, my wife's
Stewart
here.
More
and,
than
like,
he's Picard.
He's Dixon Hill. He's playing, like, I keep coming back to that in my mind, especially after last week and the week before and the week before that, where he dresses up in a tuxedo, he plays jazz music, and he's running around. You know, like, I just.
Yeah,
like
I
get the characters change, and certainly as they get older, like
this has been going on. Like, if you remember, like, let's shoehorn some horseback riding into Star Trek Generations because William Shatner likes horseback riding, right? Like, you know, there's always been this kind of going on, but like it's
but they at least did something creative with it. Like and that's how in Generations, that's how Kirk realizes he's in a fantasy, because he jumps over the ravine with the horse, and he goes, "This time I wasn't scared," and he goes, "Now I know that this is completely fake, and I don't need to be here." Because I'm not being challenged anymore, right? And that's kind of where. And even though Generations, I think, is not a great movie, it's decent, but it's not.
It's better than people say it is.
In some scenarios,
I enjoyed Generations.
Yeah, but Generations has some really cool things in it.
How about some ratings, guys?
Let's hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Let's move.
I got a theory.
Okay.
All right.
Theory time.
So my theory is they're not going to resolve any of this.
Look at Adam's
stuff.
face.
None of this Q stuff's going to get resolved at all. They're going to throw these last 2 episodes towards Girardi and Sung. And at the end of it all, we're going to be like, well, what happened with the Q thing? That's nice. And the 3rd season is going to be actually more Q focused than this one. That's my theory. He's going to get the band back together for Picard. He's going to stick them all on the bridge of the D. They're going to be on the Enterprise D. Picard's going to be in his chair. Q's going to be sitting next to him. And the rest of the crew is going to be all around them on the bridge.
I think we're going to go back. We're going to go. Yeah, I think we're going to go back to like a next gen time frame.
Yeah,
like around there,
right
a little bit after maybe.
D, man.
And I don't know if we're going to go to the D, but I think we're going to go to the E because it's the
only
set that's still around. No, it'll be the E probably, if anything.
I hope it's the E. I don't like the D so much.
I actually like the E.
Like all the beige.
D is blasphemy. Blasphemy.
No, it's that beige bridge.
It was fine in the 80s.
It was fine in the 80s.
Now.
Yes, that was fine in the 90s.
That is classic. Don't you be slagging.
The bridge looks like a lounge.
Sounds like a man who doesn't appreciate a nice.
It looks like a
chairs,
teacher's lounge.
where they're all leaning way back.
Yeah, it's like a teacher's lounge.
Comfort.
It's brutal. I'm surprised there isn't microwaves everywhere.
Did you guys
Let's rate this
episode yet where like Trip's trying to fix Archer's chair? That's a pretty funny episode.
I gotta get to a Big Brother podcast, guys.
All right. Let's get a rating.
Let's get to the ratings. Okay, I'll go first.
Rosy colored goggles are coming off.
I think it was okay, but there's room for improvement. I'm going 6.
You're too generous.
Jody?
I am going to do. What did I give last week's episode?
5.
I'm going to give this one a 4.8.
Okay, Davan?
So the last episode, I'll give that one a 5. The last one.
Do you remember the one before that? The 2 for 1?
What was that again?
2 for 1. That's where they
mostly
go.
Mostly Laris.
It was the Girardi like.
It was when
Girardi
she was singing. When she was singing.
Yeah.
I'll give that one a 7.
The holodeck Dixon Hill episode.
Yeah, we all gave it 7.
Yeah.
4 7s for that.
Oh well. And today's is like, what did I just give? 6.
6. Adam?
7.
7?
Shut up, Jody.
7?
I can see where Adam's coming from. I
liked it better than last week. I certainly liked it better than last week, and I can't.
You're entitled to your opinion, Adam, even if it is wrong.
I think they're setting something up here. I'm going with rose.
I think I'm going to be disappointed at the end of this season.
Oh, geez, I hope not. I really do. I can't handle you like this.
I'm not that bad, am I?
This is just the tip of the iceberg. Hide and Seek is the name of the next episode, by the way.
You sat through a whole bunch of episodes of me watching original series. Like, how can you even if you can get through that, you can get through this.
You become so hopeful when we watch Enterprise, you know.
You're always you got the rosy colored glasses for Enterprise, but that's okay.
I don't know about that.
Enterprise is a good show.
It's okay.
We don't disagree, Davan. We don't disagree. I like it.
Okay,
so I think Kevin's coming around.
Kevin's coming around a little bit.
It's a lot less of the.
There's way less sighing.
The sigh before each rating.
Yeah.
Well,
Kevin is a legendary sigh.
Yeah, it's the best. it's something to look forward to.
I'm gonna make an overlay one day with just a picture of Kevin, and it just says "sigh" in big letters.
Sigh.
Just heavy breath.
All right, final thoughts, guys.
Or the classic. I didn't hate it.
Nice glasses, Davan.
Oh, there's Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
And he said, Generations came out at the wrong time. It should have come out before Next Generation.
That would have been hard.
I guess with the idea, there should have been more of a passing of the torch before the new series or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
That's a good idea.
No one would have cared about Picard then.
Yeah,
that's true.
First season, Picard was a jerk. No one would have cared if he died.
He was a dick.
Well, you remember they threw DeForest Kelly's in the pilot.
Yes, he was. Yep.
Yeah.
They're 135 years old or something.
And probably the last time they could put him on screen and actually get him insured.
Take care of her and she'll always bring.
That's why he wasn't in Generations.
It was the same time they were doing Star Trek 5. They just put a lot of old age makeup on him.
Yeah. Well, when he did Generations, the reason why he's not in Generations is because they couldn't get insurance for him. So,
and Leonard Nimoy wouldn't do it either. So
yeah, Leonard Nimoy wouldn't do it either.
Yeah. Generations. It's not the best movie, but it's okay. It's
it was exciting.
It's better than Insurrection.
I agree.
No, it's not. Well,
Oh,
I
yes,
like
yes, it
Insurrection.
is.
100%. 100% better than Insurrection.
Davin, was there an animated series to Next Gen?
No.
But there should be.
However,
Remember that?
However, there is a guy that's doing them on YouTube now.
Yeah, in the style of the
It's actually pretty good. I was quite surprised what he did. He takes the audio from the episode and then animates it.
And
But
also
he animates it in the style of the original series.
Yeah,
even though it's all
it's neat. If you got
it is really cool.
It looks like the original, like the animated series and things.
The
Done a great
animated
job on
series
it.
to Next Gen, if we're being honest, is Lower Decks.
Technically, yeah.
True.
Kind of.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
They live in that world, man. That's the world they live in.
Give me
Anyway,
a key in the
quick plugs.
Quick plugs. I'll check out on Live Long In podcast. We talk about Star Trek all the time. Monday nights, we're continuing to rewatch Star Trek Enterprise episode by episode. The next episode,
On our 2 and some odd year.
We're gonna be watching Vox Sola on this Monday and talking about that.
Isn't a bad episode.
Yeah, I remember this one. It was pretty good.
Is this the one with the white tentacles everywhere?
This is the one where, I think so, and where there's those aliens who think eating in public is like having sex in public.
They get really disgraced by that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enterprise has such good stuff with aliens that are like think they're
The aliens in Enterprise are top notch.
Yeah,
it's all top notch stories when it comes
some
to that
better
stuff.
than others.
We did the Dean Stockwell episode last week or last Monday.
Yeah,
it was like okay.
Yeah.
There's our Quantum Leap music. But anyway. And of course, Davan's podcast.
Of course, check out Davan's podcast.
Computers
of Trek. Yeah, you can look at all the things through the rosy colored glasses. Tuesdays, we've been traditionally doing Deep Space Nine at 9ish. That's going on hiatus for at least a few weeks or a month because we got things going on in our lives and we got not enough nights to talk about it. So we're gonna take a little bit of break.
Hockey season.
Hockey season and things. We're going to be coming back to that when that things cool off. But we've been watching every episode of that for over 2 years, and so there's a lot of podcasts and episodes you can definitely check out in the back catalog. We're just
kind of sucks that you're going on hiatus right during the Dominion War.
It's like right when we were about to get like the most
literally
exciting
the start of the Dominion War is when
and it was like
it's like a break in the seasons. You got to look forward to the
you
next
look forward to it starting up again. Yeah.
Exactly, right. But we'll come back to it. And then on of course Thursdays we're talking about Picard at least for 2 more weeks, and then Strange New Worlds on the horizon after that. So Star Trek.
Are we all coming back for that? I'd like to come back for that.
I'd like to come back for that. If
I'm gonna give it a try, but I'm not committing to the entire.
I know Kevin said he's in for that because he's
the entire run. So I'll be here for the first episode anyway.
Yeah.
I will say the plot synopsis are out for the first few episodes of those, and it does have some promise.
The thing that's going to drive me nuts is going to be the characters. I can already tell.
Spock, it's going to be hard for me to get over. Anyway, but
we'll see what
I'm moving on.
Oh, geez, you're driving me crazy tonight.
I know. We're getting to Adam.
Adam's just like, I no longer want to talk to you anymore.
Not tonight.
Come on, give it a chance, guys.
Jeez.
I'm going to give it a chance. I'm looking forward to it. The trailer looks phenomenal. Looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then
I'm just hoping is that's fun as advertised. That's what I'm hoping for. If it turns into Discovery, I'm going to have a bad time.
Well, we'll see. And then
one
Star
of the
Trek Radio Theater
synopsis does go on about galactic peril, and I was like, oh no, not galactic peril.
Yeah. Also, check out our other channels, Super Mario Brothers Podcasting, including tonight. I'll be talking about the Week 8 eviction with Jaemeel Robinson later tonight. It's Gino and Josh on the block. Who's going to go? I got to go find out. And that's going to be wrapping up in the next 2 weeks. Big Brother Canada 10. Of course, Survivor Season 42. Continuing to watch that with Jeff and Jaemeel. That we just covered the episode 8 last night. As well
Sam
as
might be there too. Who knows?
Sam, yeah, he likes.
He's always in our comment section. So
he's always saying "Strange New Worlds" filmed in Toronto. That's right, right near us.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, not Davan, but the rest of us. And then also we're gonna be talking about Moon Knight pretty soon. We're and a couple other.
I haven't tried that one yet.
It's pretty good.
I think I'm going to binge most of it if I can.
I'm really enjoying it. When all 6 episodes are finished, we're going to talk about that. Plus, Jeff wants to talk about Severance, and there's a couple other TV shows we'll be talking over on Super Mario Brothers podcast. Yes, Sam, Gilligan's Island, maybe one day. And then
why doesn't Sam have a?
You might be 40 by then, but we might get to it.
More chance of a Michael Chan. Yeah, who knows? You never know. It could be. He could be on both shows, and then he would never tell us. We wouldn't be allowed to.
I wish I had the fan base that Michael Chan has. Everybody loves Michael Chan.
Everyone does. Yeah. And then also check out
Discovery, Jody.
Trivial
You'll
Debates.
get a fan base.
check out Davan's. He's got Locutors of Trek and his Star Trek theme one, where they do trivia and writers' room pitches and different things. What's coming up on?
Try to talk smart about Star Trek, or at least Dave does.
Yeah, talk smart. It's more intellectual than here on the Long Podcast. And then X-Men, the animated series.
I'm not intellectual.
I'm not saying you're not intellectual.
Oh, you've never been on Locutors of Trek, have you?
Yeah, I was only invited ever once, and I had to turn it down. I've never been asked to come back, so you know what can you do?
I'd love to come back. I want to do another debate.
When am I coming back for the trivia on Locutors of Trek?
Well,
I'm worried about the trivia.
The next thing we're doing
probably
is trying to defeat David trivia.
If you do trivia for like next gen, I can probably be in, but
Sam wants to know if Michael Chan's
trivia master. You'd have to talk to Ashley Millard, trivia master.
Trivia master. Yes, I'm supposed to be coming back for that.
I'm calling. Yeah, well, you're like the reigning champion and unbeatable.
I got the belt.
Like villain. Yeah, the next one's going to be called The Trouble with Trivia: The Praxising of Dave Mader.
Sam's in for trivia. He'll do it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Sam wants to join in on that.
For TOS. He loves the TOS.
Well, you better be subscribed to
Locutors of Trek.
Make sure you subscribe to Locutors of Trek, Sam. And check out the Hellbound podcast every Wednesday with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn. Let's talk about fighting games with Eamon Mader and his crew over there. They talk about fighting games.
Sam Jerka.
And I mentioned Davan's podcast as well. So I think we can. You
didn't mention mine, Dave.
What do you got?
Nothing.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
I thought I did. I was like, we got the Monday Night Enterprise. That's your captain.
Oh, that's not mine. That's yours.
You're like the Captain Archer.
Whatever. Anyway.
All right. Let's.
I was just getting you off point. That's all.
On Mercy.
No need to insult the man, Dave. Oh.
No, the only thing insulting is this episode.
Who's in the mood to add some biological and technological distinctiveness? Okay.
I am.
Live long and podcast, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Pick me.
Who's in the mood to add a little of their biological and technological distinctiveness to our own?